Well, today we got to get this cedar tree down by myself. I don't really have any help today, so kind of coming up with a game plan here, how I'm going to take care of this tree. It's got two tops plus these side arms coming off of it. Can't fall it really from the ground because we got a house back here, and as you can see, this left stem is leaned out pretty hard on the corner of the house, and I can't put it over here in the woods because there's some trees we want to preserve, plus we just don't want to damage all this landscaping and you know, tear up these smaller trees. So falling it from the ground is not an option. One thing you guys want to look for when you're kind of evaluating your trees is these type of cavities like this. All this rain's coming down in this cedar here and sitting in this union, and it's very weak. It's a very weak point on the tree. So if you look here, there's a split right down the trunk. Eventually, over time, one of these is probably going to separate, if not both of them, and there's just too much risk to have a house right there for this tree. So we're going to get it cut down. If I can get this left side worked down, all that cut out, the logs dropped out of it, then I can come back over here, and because this right side has got a lean into the lay over here to the right, I can just put cuts in this and drop this whole entire piece right into this field instead of having to climb this. So that's kind of the plan. I'm gonna get my gear on and start getting up this tree, and we'll see how it works out. We still got quite a few cedars and other trees to take down in here, but it's one of the more challenging ones here to get down by myself. So all right, we're gonna get started. Before you guys go up into a tree, make sure you have all the gear that you need. It's kind of like what a pilot does before they get off the ground. They're going through a checklist to make sure that everything's working properly before they get up there. I'm always thinking about whatever tree I'm climbing, what kind of gear do I need? What saw am I going to use? Would it be better to take a 201T up here, a gas saw, carry extra fuel oil with me? Or would it be better to just go with an electric, like the Husqvarna? In this case, I kind of want it to be quiet while I'm working on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and take up the electric and try and at least get the top out of it, maybe one piece on top of that. And then I'll come back down and switch out to a different saw. But I guess what I'm getting at is just make sure you're packing all your gear up for what you need. So I got in here my small hatchet. It's pretty heavy head on that for pounding wedges and taking tops out. Got some wedges. I got a line with Prusik loops in case I need to rig something while I'm up there by myself. And that's about it. That's all I really need for this job. But some jobs get pretty complicated, and you got to really think through what you're going to carry with you before you get in the tree itself. So I just wanted to bring that up because I know when I first started, there was times I didn't carry up the proper gear with me, and then I needed it while I'm up there by myself, and then you got to come all the way back down, and it just wastes so much energy. So anyway, we're going to start climbing in there and getting this tree piece down. If you guys haven't bought one of these hooks, there's different manufacturers. Go pick one up. It works great for when you're advancing in a tree. Instead of using your double rope system, you just hook this on in your middle D-ring there, your floating bridge, and then just hook on a limb as you go. Now you're safe, and you got something above you in case you slip. It's a lot faster than having to bring that double rope system back down to you and clipping in. The wind's picking up a bit here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get the, I'll have to take a smaller top. What I was hoping to do. Whenever you guys have the wind pick up, take a smaller piece out of your top. Don't try and take a large one. It acts as a sail, and it'll, even if you have wedges in the back, it'll still push it the opposite way. So let it calm down here a bit and try and get the top down in through here. It's got a shed down here on our left, and the house is out of range, but there's some foliage down there and little trees I don't want to damage, so we'll just hang out up here for a minute and see what the wind does. Even though I can probably push this top over by hand, I'm going to kind of go through the wedging process with you while you're in a top, because it's a little different. There's things you got to really think about before you start putting wedges in and back cuts. So if a tree's got, the top's got a pretty significant back lean, ideally you want to have somebody on the ground with a rope pulling the top out for you, but you know, there's times where you're climbing like I'm doing, you're by yourself, and you need to get that top over. Either you go up a little higher, take a smaller top that you can control, or if you got to take a pretty decent sized top, think about maybe doing that back cut first instead of, you know, putting a face in and then trying to come in for a back cut and your saw gets pinched, the top sits back on you. Because if that happens, you really have no way of recovering. You don't have another saw with you, and so you just almost have to cut the whole entire top off and let it go backwards. So I would suggest, if you got any sort of significant lean you're worried about, just put a back cut in first, and as you go to put your face cut in, just take it slow and make sure you leave a nice thick hinge. Remember, cedar trees don't hold wood near as well as a fir tree. The wood fibers are not as strong and flexible. So your hinge should always be larger on a cedar tree than it is on a fir. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in a back cut first here. And a clean part of the wood, probably gonna put it right here. You don't wanna do it where there's knots, because the wood grain is going in all sorts of directions and it won't hold very well. So I'm gonna look at, gun it for where I want it to go. I want it right in here on the road. That's good enough. About halfway, maybe a little more is okay. Get yourself an axe or a sledge, tape up your bit. Sometimes you need it to chop yourself out, but it's kind of rare that you have to do that with a hatchet up in the tree. So I just throw tape on it so I don't accidentally cut my line in there or cut myself as I'm using this. Then you can clip this thing in anywhere you want and let go of it so you don't have to mess with it while you're up here and the top's starting to come out. Get your wedge in there. Set it initially in. You can set it this way or you can set it from the side. I think this works a little better, and then you can kind of hammer the wedge sideways and drive it in further. You should only need one wedge to get this top out. You can also put a drill a hole in your wedges, put a line on these, and that helps a lot as well. So we'll tap this in. I can already see it moving the top forward. It's already opened up the back quite a bit. So now, as we put in a face cut and relieve the pressure here, this top will come right over. And if it doesn't, we can tap this to the side, hammer the wedge straight through, and then you get even more lift on it. So let's go ahead and put in our face cut. This is where you need to be really careful. You remember you aimed out here. Don't cut that hinge off. Okay, that's it. I got about an inch-ish of hinge there. Now what I'll do is I'm gonna tap this sideways and I'm gonna drive it straight through and the top should come out. I could feel too when I put in that there it goes. So I could feel when I was putting that face cut in that my bar was actually getting pinched right here. And that means I had a lot of pressure on that back cut from the wedge, which is a good thing. If your saw's getting trapped, it means you moved that top forward into the lay. So that's really it, you know, carry probably 3 wedges with you so that you can double up if you have to. But really, most of the time when topping, you see if you drive this wedge initially in like this in the middle, turn it by tapping, drive it straight through, that's a lot of lift. You should never be trying to wedge a top with that much lift on it. So really one wedge most of the time will get you by unless you're wedging an entire half of a tree out, which is a whole nother thing that you need to be very careful of. You're better off taking smaller pieces than you are trying to hammer over really large tops, unless you have some experience, because there's more weight there and the potential for you getting hurt or killed is a lot higher doing that. So anyway, we're gonna get down now. We got our SRT line set and I'm using the Petzl zigzag today, along with not only just the zigzag, I got a chicane. I was looking at getting one of those a while back and decided to go ahead and grab one and see how it works out today for SRT. Heard good things about it. I also have a rope runner that arrived about a week ago. I'm gonna try that out too, and I'll let you guys know how it works. So that's it. I'm gonna start heading down. There's the chicane. You gotta have one of these special Petzl carabiners, the orange. I think there may be some other ones to rig to this zigzag. And that's about it. This is just like using a rope wrench. Same theory there, but this is a lot smoother than trying to throw a rope wrench on the zigzag from what I've heard. So we'll go ahead and rappel down and see how smooth it is to operate. It's pretty straightforward to get on and off, so really if you guys can pick one of these up, if you have a zigzag, then you can save yourself from having to go get specifically an SRT device like a rope runner. Might save you a little bit of money. Up here, when you guys are tying in to run down the stem and work it, don't just run your carabiner around and clip into your line. That's a bad idea. Yes, this carabiner could hold you, but if it gets side loaded or something, the gate could break, it could open. I mean, you just don't do it. What I do is I run the line around and I do a running bow and clip it right back to its line. So there's no way that is coming off of there while I'm working the tree. So this thing has like 3 different arms coming off of it. I guess more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 arms that we gotta take down in pieces before we can deal with the main stem. So quite a bit of work. I'm just gonna chip away at these and film a little bit of it, but it's not gonna be all that exciting. And then I'll get back to the main stem and we'll pick it up there. So far the chicane has been really good. Extremely smooth, almost as smooth as just using a zigzag double rope. So I'm pretty impressed with it already for what it can do. It's really nice that you can just add that one little feature to a device you already have and keep using it in different configurations. So from what I can tell, I'd suggest go pick one up if you got a zigzag and don't want to go buy a dedicated SRT device. Still got a couple more sections coming off here vertically that I got to get down, and then from there it's stripping all the limbs off of this main stem, and then we'll start taking some chunks out. Quite a bit of work. I haven't been filming most of it, but there's a lot of debris down there from just this one back side of the tree. So we're probably gonna have a big excavator come in and we'll push on. We may push on this. I'm almost thinking about trying to get it down today without the machine. But you gotta be really careful. The amount of weight you have on the back of a tree, you have to account for that when you're pushing on it or when you're trying to put in, face and back cuts. That's a lot of weight that was sitting back here, plus the stem is leaned back on the house. So it's really not worth trying to push this over just to save a little bit of time. You're better off doing what I'm doing here, strip all that weight off the back side, and then throw a line in it, pull it over, or again, get on it with a big machine. So I'm gonna get up here and get this top out and then keep working my way around. We're gonna see if we can drop this whole top vertically down right in here. That worked. top cleaned up pretty good. That allows me to have a better rope angle to work the tree down. So now instead of having to fight these limbs with this rope above me and getting caught, I can come all the way down and go out into these longer ones that are hanging out over the structure and get those trimmed up. We're almost done limbing this out, and then we'll go get the 201 if I got time and take down a couple chunks out of this, if not the entire stem down into the branches there, and then we'll cut that one off. So I'm gonna finish these last couple limbs here. So now that this is all cleaned up, you can see my rope is not going to be obstructed from moving around the whole tree. So I can come all the way down, rappel, and work all this stuff down without my line getting all caught up. It'll be a lot more efficient. So if I want to get over in that tree, which I'm probably going to come around this backside here. Now my line's not getting caught. You can see up there. Got a lot more room to move around. So I'm going to work on getting this down, and then I'll start filming again once I can maybe get in here and take some chunks out. Well, we got it all thinned out down there. Just got one more arm that's coming out here I gotta take care of, and that'll be about it. There's a lot of debris on this back side of the tree. And probably thousands of pounds of limbs and foliage. So anyway, I'm gonna get this limb down, take this last little section down and swing out. We'll get that arm out, and that'll be it. We preserved the tree over here and didn't get into the shed, so it's a good deal. But you see how much debris is down here. This is just the back side of this one cedar tree. And that's definitely thousands of pounds of weight down in here. So if you had tried to push on this, you can see the lean up there is right on the house. If you tried to push with the machine from the backside, there's a potential with the amount of weight that was there. You could actually fail the hinge in here and rip the whole hinge out, and it would just, you know, pivot backwards into the house. So, you know, there's no way to really mitigate that other than to take the stuff off or get a line set even further up than halfway of the tree. So when you pull on it, the hinge isn't being stressed out as much down here. But yeah, well, we got her done, and we'll take a break, get down and eat, and then I'll get back up here and keep working.